Aiden here. I thought I would share a story with you today while I'm walking around the museum, waiting for the clouds to burn off, like every other VFR pilot. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you a story from flight training, actually. And so to give you some context, I got my driver's license in November of 2019. Okay, so November of 2019, I got my driver's license. About 7 months later, in May of 2020, I was awarded a $10,000 scholarship here at the museum, at the airport. And I've done another video about that, and I can do another video about that. So let me know if you want to hear about that. But anyway, so I received a flight scholarship, and I started training in May of 2020. So that was 7 months later. Well, in that 7 months, even when I started flying, my parents really didn't let me. They didn't let me drive anywhere by myself. I was allowed to drive to the airport, to home, to school, to home. That was it. Couldn't go to any friends' houses. Definitely couldn't drive any friends because for the first 12 months of having your driver's license here in the state of California, you can't drive any minors under the age of 25. And so I definitely couldn't drive any friends around for sure. Well, the one place I wanted to go all the time was my best friend's house, naturally. You know, and he lives about 25 miles away from me. So the only place I wanted to go, I wasn't allowed to go. So I was truly heartbroken. Well, that continued into my flight training. And I kept making the argument with my parents, so you'll let me go fly a plane, but I can't drive a car. I can't drive a car just like any other 17-year-old. I was so upset and I was so pissed. Well, anyway, about 2 months into my training, so this is July, I got into the cross-country phase. So finally it was time to do my first solo cross-country. A cross-country is when you fly from one airport to another. It just means that you're leaving your local airport. And so anyway, so I had done a cross-country with my flight instructor, and this is not my first flight by myself, but it was the first time I'm leaving the airport and going somewhere else by myself. Well, on that day, I flew here from Paso Robles, California to Porterville Airport, down to Shafter-Minter, and back to Paso Robles. Well, you know, I left the house just like any other flight lesson morning, where it's cloudy outside and I have to wait for the clouds to burn off. You know, say bye mom, bye dad, all that good stuff, and I drove over to the airport. Well, I briefed with my flight instructor. I fly out to Porterville. Once I got out to Porterville, I landed. It's 105 degrees outside. It is hot as balls, if I can say that on YouTube. It's hot. It's really hot. And the restaurant terminal was closed. So, you know, there was nowhere I could go inside, get AC or a snack or anything like that. And the restaurant on the airport grounds was also closed. And I had even called ahead of time a few days before that, and I don't know, something last minute must have come up and they closed for whatever reason. And so yeah, it was closed. It was hot as crap. And Porterville's a small municipal airport, no tower or anything like that. So I'm over on I'm over in the parking area. I got my plane parked, and I'm sitting on the tire of the Cessna 172 I'm renting from the flight school, right? And so I'm sitting on the tire underneath the shade of the wing, and I'm making a few notes for my next leg of the journey out to the other airport. And I checked my phone, and my best friend had texted. He said, "Hey, you want to come over tonight, spend the night?" And I was like, yeah, I want to spend the night. So I call my dad up and I say, "Hey, dad, please, I know you've said no before. You're probably gonna say no again, but can I please drive over to Chaz's? Or could you drop me off? Like, you know, could you drop me off, pick me up?" And I say, for whatever reason, the answer was no. You know, he couldn't drop me off. My mom couldn't drop me off. I don't know if they were working or what the reason was. But anyway, so they couldn't take me. So I was like, "Dad, please let me go by myself. Please let me drive by myself." He's like, "No, it's too far. You haven't had your license long enough. You need more practice, yada, yada, yada." Jack speech. If I had this conversation, no. And basically, anything else, he's like, where are you? I'm in Porterville. Porterville, I can't remember how many miles away Porterville is, but it's not close. It's like 100 miles probably, maybe less. But Porterville, why are you in Porterville? I'm like, well, he's like, "Are you with your flight instructor?" "No, I flew here by myself." Well, focus on your flying, be safe, focus on your flying, don't think about your friend, just focus and be safe and come home. I have attention span issues, I swear. I don't know how I film any video longer than like 3 minutes. I really don't. I wonder how long this video is gonna be. We'll see. But anyway, so I hang up, finish making some of my notes, I get in the plane, I buckle up, and I haven't started the engine yet. He calls me back. He says, "Hey, Aiden, you know, I've talked with your mom, and I kind of after you told me you were in Porterville by yourself and you flew out there, I kind of had like a moment to myself and just thought, man, I'm letting my kid fly an airplane by himself, like so many miles away from home, and he just left this morning. I mean, if I drove, I wouldn't have been there by then. You know, he's kind of like, you know, I think it's time that I trust you and trust your ability to be safe, and I trust you to drive over to Chaz's house. So I was so stoked. I call my friend Chaz, and you know, I go, hey, my dad's finally gonna let me drive, and I was so stoked. And so, you know, I flew over to the other airport, flew home. It was a good safe flight, and I got back to Paso Robles, debriefed with my flight instructor, and went home, packed up my bag, and went over to my friend's house. And I was so stoked. It was the first time he ever let me drive anywhere except for like school or the airport. You know, that was it. Like, that was the first time he ever trusted me. And it took me flying an airplane by myself at 17 years old in order to get him to kind of realize how responsible I really was for being 17. And yeah, so I kind of wanted to share that story. It's kind of interesting how, you know, and it's not necessarily that he didn't trust me, he didn't trust the world, and he didn't trust what could happen, whether it was my fault or not. And, you know, he just wanted me to be safe. So it's kind of interesting how that's what it took for him to be able to trust me. So, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you disliked it, hit it twice so I really know, you know, so I really get the message. If you guys want to see any more content like this or anything else that's going around at the museum, I'm sure we've got plenty of stuff coming up that I can share with you. So please check out the channel. And yeah, with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.